it's Brewbird. I'm a Canadian girl training to be a whiskey distiller in Scotland. Welcome to the Distilled Kitchen, where we're making British dishes and cocktails, because every good dish deserves a good drink. One of my co-workers at the distillery started talking about how they really liked eating flapjacks. The image that came to mind was of those round, fluffy, flat things which are synonymous with pancakes in North America. However, here in Scotland, flapjacks refer to a completely different food item, a baked oatmeal bar. So let's get to work making the Scottish version of flapjacks. First, I'll preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Then, I'll measure out 40 grams of sultanas and soak them in 30 milliliters of whiskey. You can also use water or orange juice if you want to go the non-alcoholic route. I'll set that aside for now so the raisins can soak up the whiskey and get plump and juicy. Now I'll measure out 250 grams of rolled oats and set that aside. Then in another bowl, I'll measure out 125 grams of butter and 90 grams of soft dark brown sugar. And 75 grams of golden syrup. I'm going to melt this mixture using the double boiler method, since it's a more gentle method of heating and I won't have to worry about the sugar burning. So to do this, I'll just grab a pot and fill it with 3 inches of water and heat it until it's boiling. Then I'll put my glass bowl over top and the steam from the boiling water will heat up my glass bowl and melt the butter and sugar. If you're watching it carefully, you can just heat the butter and sugar directly on the stove without using this method. Meanwhile, these sultanas have been soaking for about 15 minutes. They haven't taken up all of the whiskey, so I'll put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds to speed up the plumping process. Now, they're ready to go. Once it's melted, I'll add the rolled oats and plump sultanas and mix until everything is well combined. I've prepared this baking pan by lining it with some grease-proof paper. I've scrunched up the paper first so it's more malleable and will fit into the pan better. Then I'll spread the flapjack mixture into the pan evenly, and you can use the back of a spoon to make sure the mixture is packed in nice and tight. Then I'll pop it in the oven and bake for 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how crisp and brown you like it. And also the size of your pan, the baking time will change, so make sure to check in on it at the 15-minute mark. My flapjacks are ready, so I'll take them out of the oven and cut them into squares while it's still hot. Then I'll leave it in the tin to cool completely before taking the squares out. When it gets dark outside, all I want to do is roll around in bed and have hot drinks. So that's why we're making a hot toddy today. This is a very old drink, so old in fact that its origins are unknown, but it's believed to have been invented in Scotland in the 1700s, perhaps as a sweeter and more palatable alternative to drinking Scotch whiskey on its own. First, I'll slice up a lemon round as a garnish and juice it. Then, in a toddy glass, I'll combine 1 big spoonful of honey, 40 milliliters of Scotch whiskey, the same one that we use for our flapjacks, 15 milliliters of lemon juice, and top it all off with hot water, about 200 milliliters. I'll stir it up to dissolve the honey and garnish with my lemon round, a cinnamon stick, and a star anise. This is just the thing to drink on a cold night or when you're feeling under the weather, so bottoms up. I just find this combination so comforting on a day like today. It's soothing to have something warm and sweet in the afternoon as a snack or at the end of a meal for dessert. It just warms you right up and puts you in a relaxed mood. The flapjacks are chewy with a good texture, but not hard or crunchy like a granola bar. They aren't too sweet, and they're also just a little bit sticky and malleable. The Hot Toddy is just the thing to keep me warm on a day like today. I'll sit down and warm myself with these goodies now, so don't forget to subscribe below and I'll see you next time.